Welcome guys, I'm trying a new deck I've come up with today. I wanted to build a deck around Satsuki the Living Law. So it's a Saga deck. I think every card in the deck is a Saga apart from Satsuki. Um, the tricky part of the deck I've just been working on is fitting sweepers into the deck. So we've got a couple. We've got Elder Dragon War, just does 2 damage to each creature. Phasing of Zhalfir can destroy all creatures, but then you replace them with a 2/2 Phyrexian. Uh, so obviously it's Satsuki's green and white, and these two you've got double blue, double red. So that's pretty challenging for the mana base. So I've just been tinkering with the mana base for quite a while to try and get this deck to work. Hopefully it works. We should have 16 blue and 16 red sources. That means you should be able to get double blue or double red on turn 4 by about 90% of the time. That's the theory. And at the same time, we should be able to cast our early green and white spells about 90% of the time. So it's just, first of all, it's just a challenge to see if we can actually hit the right mana and cast our spells with this deck. Obviously, this deck would be really good with domain cards. The only domain payoff we've got is Weatherseed Treaty. But I thought, let's stick with, for the first attempt, I'm going to go with the all Sagas version of the deck, and then later I might try a domain version, with things like the Herd Migration and Drag to the Bottom. Could be really good in this deck, but then it's even more complicated with Drag to the Bottom. You've got to fit in double black and change the mana base. So, anyway, this is the deck. This is what we're going with. We've got 27 land as well, because we're using a Suza's Many Journeys. If we draw this, we want to be able to ramp out an extra land. We want to have a good chance of doing that as well. So, no idea whether we'll be able to win a game with this, but it seems like an interesting experiment. So, we're just going to try standard play. I think this is way too experimental for ranked. I think we could potentially lose a lot of rank with this deck. I've chucked in 1 copy of the Fall of Lord Conda. So, it's not a very good card. It is a card that can kill Sheoldred. Now, what we've run into here is no green mana. So, but we can play a turn 3 Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So I think it's not a great hand. Well, we've only got 13 green sources, so this is the problem. But we'll keep it. Problem with trying to go for these all these double pip sweepers and things. Luckily, we're actually on the play. Oh, there's a swamp. Another Asusa. Now, if he counters this, we might be in trouble. We'll see. Hopefully he's got Essence Capture. No, he's got Negate. He's got the Negate ready. Yeah. We might be in a wee bit of trouble. No, we're not. See, we didn't hit the right colour of mana there. We'll play that. That's fine. So one theory is, maybe I don't need to worry about the 16 red sources, the 16 blue sources, right? So looks like we're gonna do precisely nothing here. I think we just concede, move on. So, yeah, maybe I don't have to go for the 16 red 16 blue sources for my sweeper spells. What we do is we just make sure we've got enough red to cast Fable. Make sure we've got enough green to cast our green fixing spells. So we're going to tune up the deck a little bit more. So I think what this means in terms of what we're changing, we're going to maybe cut down. The only blue spell is Phasing of Zhalfir, right? It's quite a powerful spell, but we might keep the 2 islands. I think we just want a bit more green in the deck. I think just drop the 2 Sparrows Headquarters and go for 2 extra Jetmir's Gardens. And then we've got, that's just replaced 2 blue sources with 2 green sources, right? So we're up to 15 green sources, we're down to 14 blue. Fingers crossed that will work. I mean, I can't imagine ever beating the mono blue deck, no matter what we play. But what we can sort of work on improving our mana base and trying to actually cast our spells. There's an argument I should have, mulligan that first hand with the, having green spells and no green mana. But I don't know what a normal hand for this deck looks like. Because I thought, well, maybe Fable could fix the hand, get some treasure tokens. So this is a nice hand. Look, green-white land. The only problem is, right, Satsuki needs green and white. But Weatherseed Treaty, Restoration of Aganjo can get me another green or white. So we'll keep this one. We're on the draw. So we can play this as a tap land turn 1. And then we hit another source. But we probably can't. Oh, that's nice. We top deck a planes, so we can actually play Satsuki. That's pretty cool. And she's dead already to Liliana. That's fine. I don't have any things to bring back yet. Okie doke. So we've got Fable of the Mirror Breaker now. We've got Weatherseed Treaty. To ramp, but Fable seems like a pretty good thing to go for here. But what I'm happy about, we hit our lands. We hit the right colours of mana. We've got to discard something. I think we can discard an overgrown farmland here. Okay, they've got rid of an extra Liliana. Sure. Now we've got a tricky choice. Discard 2 things. A Sousa could help us ramp here. Weatherside Treaty definitely helps us ramp, but we've got 4 mana to play with, and we need double green if you want to do a Sousa and Satsuki. We definitely keep Satsuki. Right, arguably it's too late for Asusa to like have the effect we want. I like the Restoration of Aganjo. I like having a guaranteed extra land, so We could discard Weatherseed Treaty. We'll discard Weatherseed Treaty, I think. Okay. Right, we'll play land. We will... Let's play... Should we play Satsuki? Or Restoration of Iganjo? We can get a Satsuki back, of course. If Satsuki dies, we get something back, which is quite cool. And it pressures the board. It means they've got to do something. This gets me a planes out of the deck. But I've already got my planes out of the deck. That's a good point. Yeah, Restoration is not so good in this deck because we only have one basic planes. So, Satsuki's dead. Let's get a Saga back from the graveyard. So we'll play Weatherseed Treaty. We'll get Weatherseed Treaty. There we go. Cool. Graveyard Trespasser. Guess what? Get rid of a Satsuki. Sure. Right. So we have Reflection. We're on 10 life. This doesn't get me a planes, unfortunately. Weatherseed Treaty does get me something. Well, it looks like we're taking 6 damage as well. Liliana could make me lose the Kiki-Jiki. I don't think we can worry about that. Let's get a swamp, actually. Let's go for the Weatherseed Treaty. Get a swamp. And we'll play a tapped Jetmir's Garden as well.
I'm tired of your
We'll lose a Thranpool. Okay, so he's going for that. So this is potentially the this is 9 damage, obviously. So we're forced to block like that. So this kind of situation, you think, well, where are my sweepers? I think that's the problem. This has got read ahead, so we can... He's managed to, of course, destroy my graveyard as well. Naturally, but that gets a 2 mana permanent back from the graveyard. Right. So... let's try Braids' Frightful Return. We've got to keep this guy as a blocker, of course. We don't have any creatures in the graveyard. We'll do this one. Give it a shot. So Liliana's gone. Okay. Right. You may play an additional land this turn, or we get... Do we get a 2-drop back from there? Let's just play a Sue's Many Journeys. We don't have the extra land. He's got the underdog, so he can just get through. Interesting. Well, he could have just won the game there.
I bring my own army.
He could do direct damage with that. I'll just block like that. Okay. Right, Restoration of Iganjo. Let's just check if I have got a Plains card in the deck. No. Okay. Fair enough. Good game. We just concede there. Alright, the mana was better that game. You know, let's take the positives. The mana was better that game. I think we'll play one more with this configuration, and then we might change things up a bit. Okay. Good news, we can play a turn 2 Satsuki and a turn 3 Fable. Let's keep this. So I think, well, if we're man enough, we could just go green and white with the Thran portals. But let's think carefully. We have access to 2 colours here. We want to cover 2 different colours with these. Okay, I'm going to play the farmland there, so that one of the Thran portals will be green or white. Okay, it's the Ronin. I'm never that scared of the Ronin, because it means at least he's got to pay for it every turn. He's not sort of building up a scary board. So here we will do this for green mana. And play Satsuki. And then Satsuki can potentially block. But I might want to force a lightning strike out of him and not block. Otherwise he could use his 2 damage removal spell when I don't have anything in the graveyard. Actually, well, there you go. He had a Strangle. He had the perfect removal card, and he can still hit me for 2. Okay. Thran portal for red. And we will Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Take 2 damage. 2 more damage. We could block, but yeah, we can take 2 more damage. I'm not worried about going down to 11. We'll see if he's got... Oh, he's got the lightning strike this time. Cool, that could have gone face, of course. Oh, that's nice. Blue. Okay. Now, how useful is this? It gets me a creature card back from the graveyard. I think one Xander's Lounge can go. We've got... Obviously, we want to hit 6 land and play Kami's War. But I think we put Kami's War in the graveyard and a Xander's Lounge. We get another Xander's Lounge. We've got a swamp, so we can Braids and get that back. So probably better to do something this turn, I think. We'll take 1. We go straight to step 2. And bring Satsuki back. There's that Ronin friend. Another one. So that's 4. And that's a 1/1 haster. And that's 1 direct damage. So a grand total of 6 damage this turn. So he's in range of doing lethal. Okay. have one blocker. Another card. Hey, it doesn't cost me life points to use this one. That's good. I think I still lose a life point trying to play Satsuki, don't I? I can't actually play both of these. But that's, you know, that is part of the deck. It's difficult to do multiple things per turn, I've noticed. But yeah, we play Satsuki like that. We take 1 damage. Yeah, we could cycle a Xander's Lounge, but yeah, I think we're dead, to be honest. But hey, I think we may have been, I can't remember if we were on the play or not, to be honest. Okay. So Ronin, another Ronin. Oh, it's a third Ronin. Okay, wow, okay. Well, we're definitely dead then, I think, because 1 point of damage from Satsuki put me on 3. Block there. Take 3. Let's cycle that and see what was on top of the deck. No. One thing I'll note, we haven't seen a sweeper yet. So I'm only running 4 in the deck, and I'm wondering, should I go up to 5? Maybe that would make a lot of sense. I think now this is where we change the deck. Right, so the straight swap I'm thinking of is we drop Teachings of the Kirin, and we'll go for the big domain card, which is Leyline Binding would be pretty good. So that could certainly keep us alive a bit longer. But the one I was thinking of was the Herd Migration. So that's more mana fixing as well. Gives us another late game thing. And it's probably fair to say we need a bit more in the way of removal. I don't think the removal is really cutting it. So let's try 4 Leyland Bindings, and we'll just kind of tax the deck a little bit. I don't think Fall of Lord Conda is going to be as good as I think it is. That's an easy thing to cut. Braids' Fight for Returns, kind of good. I think Restoration of Iganjo is kind of good, but we've only got 1 Plains, so I think you just cut this from the deck. And we'll cut 1 Braids. Give that a go. Of course, if we were to bring in the drag to the bottom, we'd have to just seriously rejig the mana base, I think. So we'll keep the sweepers we've got. Okay, well, yes, it's not going to be a turn 2 Satsuki. But a turn 3 Weatherseed Treaty, or well, turn 2 Herd Migration to get another land could be good. Yeah. Get the plains or a forest. It's another mono red deck. We're on the draw, so our chances are slim, I would say. But I like the the 3 points of life gain on herd migration, and I like the fact I'm not going to have to rely on a pain land early on. So we'll see if we can do better than against the last deck. But Monastery Swiftspear is a lot scarier, I think, than the artifact dude, the artifact samurai, reinforced Ronin. Well, he's playing the Ronin as well. Jetmir's Garden, that's red, green and white. We could play that, or we can herd migration for another land. But yeah, it's a difficult decision. We can hold the herd. Yeah, I think we want to hold the herd migration for a bit longer, and we'll play that tapped. So we're on 16 life. He's relying on the Ronin. There's the Kumano. Okay. I'm down to 11. Oh, interesting. Right. So we have potential for taking out his dudes next turn. We'll play a mountain. So this is the first sweeper we've seen, which is very exciting. So there's gain 3 life with herd migration, or I just play a Satsuki, which might be good. So Weather Sea Treaty. I think play a Satsuki, see if we can block something. Advantage of the Ronin, of course, he's going to dodge the Elder Dragon War. Okay, so Reckless Stormseeker. Unfortunately, that survives an Elder Dragon War as well. That's 4 damage. We'll keep Satsuki up and take 4, I guess. Haven't actually been able to tap a Satsuki yet to put a lore counter on something. That'd be nice when I get to do that. So far, yeah, Elder Dragon War just kills a Swift Spear. Interesting. Could block Stormseeker next turn, assuming Satsuki's still alive. And then activate only as a sorcery. Well, that's no fun. Okay, we actually do have double red already. We've got Jetmir's Garden. I'll play this overgrown farmland. Let's play another blocker with Weather Sea Treaty, I think. I'd quite like to ramp, but let's do that instead. And go next, and no attacks. And end turn. So So another Kumano pops me down to 6. At least 2 damage is getting through here. Okay, Lightning Strike on Satsuki. So that's 5 damage getting through, it looks like. 6 damage getting through. Okay, good game. So we drew our sweeper that time, but it was only going to kill one of the creatures, unfortunately. So my thesis now. Elder Dragon War's no good because it only does 2 damage. I can actually go up to 4 Phasing of Zhalfir. And that makes life easier in a way, because then we need fewer red sources. And then it's a case of figuring out how that's going to work in the deck. Right, so we still need blue, green and white. If we drop a couple of those. Get an extra island. Get an extra forest. We still need an extra blue source from somewhere. See, it's quite tricky, these mana bases. Yeah, I think it's going to take too much thinking time to fix the mana base, but we'll just right. Actually, it's now I think of it, very simple. Cut Jetmir's Garden, and we find the appropriate land. That is the green, white, blue one, right? Sparrow's headquarters. There we go. So suddenly we've got 4 more blue sources in the deck. And yeah, I think that's fine. We could play standard best of 3. We might not have to play every single monocolor aggro deck every time. Let's throw together a quick sideboard with lots of Sagas. So, Fall of Lord Conda seems like a good one, right? There's some blue stuff we can try out. Inventive Iteration gives us a bit of bounce. Hold the Unspeakable might be a good one. Yeah, Teachings of the Kirin to get rid of their graveyard might be good. I mean, that is a very basic sideboard, but let's give it a shot. Yeah, and Hidetsugu consumes all, good against cheap decks. So in best of 3, what happens is you play against Grixis decks, but the games are a bit longer and more interesting, I think. In theory, you won't just get run over in 5 turns by red decks, or at least not quite so often, in theory. I guess he's going to go first. Alright, so seems alright. We've got 4 land types. We've even got double blue for the Phasing of Zhalfir. Go ahead and play the next Sparrow's Headquarters. Okay, there's a Fable. So I said you usually play the Grixis deck. So this looks like the Grixis deck. Let's get a Swamp into play. We let this survive. He discards his extra land, or he looks for extra land. So I think this is a Leyline Binding here, but we'll let the token survive. Then he can do Invoke Despair. I was just remembering the Grixis deck has Invoke Despair, so my Leyline Binding is in danger. This gets us to blue-red. Got lots of interesting things we can do. But I think I want to just ramp. But that's countered. Of course, they do run Make Disappear in this deck. But his Goblin's going to be free to make treasures, so he'll be able to cast anything. And that's the Invoke Despair. So he gets his Reflection back, gets another Goblin. Phasing of Zhalfir, not so good at sweeping up Goblins, gotta say, because it replaces them with 2/2 creatures. But we can play a Satsuki as a blocker, and we can play a Fable Mirror Breaker of our own. So we're already in the best of 3 format. We're getting more of a game. We're not anywhere closer to winning, but it doesn't feel quite so bad. We're going to get to see more of our deck in action. So, there's a good argument that Leyline Binding goes on the Shaman instead of the Fable, specifically against the Grixis deck, because they're running Invoke Despair. They've found the other Invoke Despair. Good for them. Let's try and get a Saga back from the graveyard. Fable or Weatherseed Treaty? I think I like Fable. That's good that that went to the graveyard before Satsuki triggered. Okay, 3, 6. So we need 7 for herd migration. So let's Fable. And then we've got a blocker. And let's Raids' Frightful Return. And we bring a creature back from the graveyard. Oh, he might counter this. That'd be... Well, yeah, that would make sense, because he does counter this. He uses his treasures. Alright. Right, I mean, we've got herd migration next turn. I don't think, because we're using these kind of check lands. Yeah, we don't have a mountain. We're only going to get 4 3/3s. But he's got a handful of cards. He's down to make disappear, so the chances are, I think, he's going to be able to do something about it. So I'm going to block. I'm going to block. Preserve the life total. There's the Corpse Appraise. Okay. That's going away. He's stopping me from, obviously, bringing that back. Okay, it's probably too late for Asusa's Many Journeys to do very much. Phasing of Zhalfir, it's going to take that special ability away, which is probably important because he's got Corpse Appraiser. So we keep that. And we'll play another Spyro's Headquarters and Phasing of Zhalfir, destroy all creatures. Does it make disappear number 3 by any chance? So we're going to do just destroy all creatures. It's only taking 1 power off the table, but at least it's getting rid of a dangerous ability. So we're looking at 4 damage this turn. If he's got Invoke Despair number 3, that's another 4 damage, I believe. And we'll see if he's got Sheoldred. Still got mana for Sheoldred potentially. Now Fable would play around his next counter spell. Fable only stops 4 damage as well. So I'll just take a risk and go for the herd migration and make sure I do the left-hand side of it. But he has make disappear number 3. Sure he does. Okay. And that's dead. So we concede that one. Go straight to the next one. We didn't see a Sheoldred. So this isn't the kind of game where Phasing of Zhalfir is going to be very useful. Hidetsugu will take out tokens, take out graveyards. What about taking out his graveyard? Why is that important? Just because, yeah, Corpse Appraiser needs fuel. It needs creatures to get rid of from the graveyard to get card advantage. So that's why Teachings might be important. Inventive Iteration can bounce stuff. Fall of Lord Conda could be good in the deck if he's against. If we see Sheoldred. I think I'll take 1 Inventive Iteration and 2 Teachings. Yeah. Okay, I get to go first, which is always nice. That's decent land. So green, white, and blue. And we've got mana fixing as well. And for once, we've got a Sousa's in the opening hand, and we can cast it, and we can actually ramp. So let's keep this one. And it just feels much more civilized and it's sort of a measured pace to the game in best of 3. It's not hell for leather, kill your opponent as quickly as possible. I'm enjoying it. I mean, you have to play Grixis every single game probably, but that's okay. Right, let's Weatherseed Treaty. Let's start ramping out the lands we're missing. Starting with a swamp. So I suppose we learnt our lesson. We probably have to just take out that token with Leyline Binding here. And I think we Weatherseed Treaty for a mountain, and then we can do a 1-point Leyline Binding, which is pretty cool. And we've got loads of enchantments in play at this point as well. Right, trade with likeness, I guess. And he might use removal on this guy, I guess, so I don't have a target for Weatherseed Treaty. But I'm okay with that. Okay. So let's pump the one without. I think, yeah, we play the extra land. We're hoping to get to our herd migration a bit later. Right. What is there anything we should do pre-combat? No. I'm going to swing it. Now, should we leyline binding, I reckon, a bank buster? I'm not sure about that. Now we could Satsuki, we could braids and make him discard here, and then we'll get a Weatherseed Treaty back, I think. And then we'll keep digging lands out of the library. And then we get Satsuki back next turn. Anyway, this is the whole combo that we're actually getting to see it because we're not getting killed in 4 turns. So he's discarding that. Let's get a Saga. It's a shame this isn't an enchantment creature, the Leyline Binding. Obviously, there is a card that can turn that into a creature. Unfortunately, I don't have that one. Okay, we're going to get the... it'll be the Weatherseed Treaty we get back. We've still got basics to dig out of the deck. I will end turn. I think there's no emergency yet. I don't think we have to take out these 2 things. I think we'll wait till he's got... Yeah, once he can copy Corpse Appraiser. So yeah, he's able to take, unfortunately, Satsuki out of the graveyard. Of course. So... And you can't stop this ability by responding at flash speed, as far as I understand it. So I won't do that. Okay, end of turn. Right, what's the most dangerous thing? We've got lots of things to exile from there. I'm going to get rid of the reflection. I've actually got quite a few enchantments to sacrifice if he does go for Invoke Despair. I think that's the most dangerous thing. It's quite laborious to actually get that to come into play. Right, yeah, I was thinking that's lit up, but no, it's for the channel effect. So we swing in for 6, I believe. Go for Weatherseed Treaty. The good chance he'll have Counterspell up next turn to stop the Herd Migration. Get the island. End turn. Interesting. He might have to lose 2 life next turn. It has to be a non-land, non-token permanent that he sacrifices. got the Shieldred. Still got the mana for a removal spell. For a counter spell, I mean. Okay, my turn. Let's draw. Okay. Do you want to sacrifice, or do you just want to lose 2 life points? And give me a card as well. Give me a card, because I lose 2 life. I get punished. Fair enough. So we can make the sensible move and just play Satsuki and play around his potential for a counter spell here, or we can be very silly. But we know his counter spell is a sort of 2 mana power sink. I think we'll actually play this land because obviously we cycle it costs us 2 life. But getting to 9 land is quite useful for us, so I think I'll play Satsuki and go next. Now his life total can stabilize a bit. I'll tell you what, the other card I was, well, one I forgot to add to the deck is the green-black enchantment creature. It's sort of a green, black, and 1 that can bring a permanent card back from your graveyard when you play it. Okay, let's resolve this one. Sacrifice a creature. Do we sacrifice Satsuki in order to get something cool back from the graveyard? Yeah, we do. Sacrifice the low binding. Bring a Saga back. Braids his rightful return, or another Weatherseed Treaty. Maybe another Weatherseed Treaty. We're talking about getting to 9 land. That does the job. But he has got a token to sacrifice now for his counter spell. We're assuming he's got a counter spell. Okay, interesting. Now, is he going to blow that up at instant speed? Oh, that's interesting. So he goes down to 1 mana, right? Okay. Right, do I play the Storm-Carved Coast anyway? He could have Spell Pierce. There is still a chance of that. Just count this up, 9 mana. We should be safe from Spell Pierce. Here comes the Herd Migration. He goes up to 14 now. Right, Right, there's another blocker. So it's looking like only one of these is going to get through if I attack with everything. But it will trade off a few corpse appraisers. Okay, he's getting rid of Make Disappear because I have quite a lot of mana now. Makes sense. One thing to think about is his return attack here. He can let quite a lot of this damage through. He's got a free block with Shieldred as well. I can make this a 6/6 and attack as well. So he should chump block with something. Block 1 with Shieldred and take 9. Then I've only got one blocker. He attacks with everything. I take like 8 damage. Anyway, let's play a Weatherseed Treaty. And go for just stage 3. And yeah, put it on a Saproling, I guess. An attack. So yeah, he's not low enough. He's got too many blockers, I think. We'll go for an attack like that. Go for the threat, okay. And turn. And he's up to 20 life already. This is the problem with an unanswered Shieldred that's been around for a few turns. It just, he was on, yeah, he's gained 14 life off it. He was on for 6 life, I think. So, yeah, we will trade off like that. I suppose good things about the Grixis deck, he's got, as well as dangerous threats, he's got a lot of card draw, a lot of card selection with blood tokens. That's what this deck's missing. I'm kind of relying on Fable to do a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, sometimes Braids' Frightful Return can give me a bit of card advantage, but not that often. And of course this is discard, draw 2 cards, so that just accelerates the Shieldred situation. But we've got to get to Leyline Binding number 3, basically, to get rid of Shieldred, so we do have to just draw cards. That is the dilemma that Shieldred puts you in. Okay, I was thinking about Inventive Iteration in the deck. That's another good saga. Step 2, you get to bring an artifact back from the graveyard. So with that one, we could play Reckoner Bankbuster, so that might make quite a lot of sense. Right, assuming he's got instant speed removal here, we'll do a triple block. He could have 2 instant speed removal though, but we'll take that risk. We could chuck the sapling in as well, but it gives him a sort of a 2-for-1 in a way. Aha! Do we want to go down to 4? Yeah. But we've hit the card that I'd forgotten about completely. We have seen it in the hand before. Right, so exile, target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Seems good. Right, let's do this. We've got 3 extra mana. Do we play a Satsuki or do we wait with the Satsuki? Let's play a Satsuki. It's another blocker. We are pretty low on life points here. No attacks. Yeah. 1 removal. Another removal. Go for the throw. Yeah, he had 2 removal spells, so he pushes through with a good chunk of damage here. That can kill Satsuki, or he just attacks. Makes sense, and that's 3 damage getting through. So I've got a block like this. 3 damage. Yeah. Let's get a Saga card back. So Braids' Frightful Return is a good one. And it's a Sheoldred. Okay, sure. Yeah, was that his top deck that turn? Yeah, he did. Well, he emptied his hand. He used 2 removal to kill my 2 creatures. I think he just top decked that. Right, that was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. That was like a good run out for the deck to see what it can do. Can I stomach 1 more game? I know we're going to make any changes. Yeah, I've got a few changes in mind, but I think they're going to be quite radical. So we'll just get into 1 more game as quickly as possible. 1 more match. And we'll just see if we can up the Grixis count. Is it going to be Grixis every time in best of 3? Okay. That's 4 land types. Pretty good. Got double blue for Phasing of Zhalfir as well. Red-white. White isn't usually in with Grixis. I think we found a non-Grixis deck, which is amazing. And it's not even an Esper deck. That's usually the number 2 deck you run into. Ah, but we know what this is. This is almost certainly the green-white Reanimate a Phyrexian Portal deck. Right. We top decked Azusa's Many Journeys. That's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and do that and play another land. That seems like a plan. And we actually have more lands to follow up with. We're really kind of making the most of this this ramp card. We get another Azusa, and we have enough land to make the most of it. Lovely. We are missing black mana. That's the only drawback. We can't play Braids' Frightful Return yet. But four lands out of 5 is not bad. And he's only got 2 lands. Believe we did go first, right? Or did actually I can't even remember. So because that was two turns in a row where we've played 2 lands. So we should be on 3 land. So yeah, we did go first. So Casia's Welcome. Okay, that's a nice card draw kind of outlet. I think we leyline binding that now. Okay, we have black mana. Now, the nice thing about Thran Portal, it actually counts as a swamp, so it is very good for domain decks. If you've got the stomach to play it, not many people do. Good game. Don't know if I was thinking too long or if I took out something important. So that is our first single game win with this deck, which is very encouraging. It's red white with enchantments. We think it's the red white deck. That's not going to be any good. This could exile stuff from their graveyard. They could be doing graveyard stuff. Pull the Unspeakable. Fall of Lord Conda. So the one that might be useful is Teachings of the Kirin. I'm going to drop 2 Phasing of Zhalfir and put in 2 Teachings. That's going to be my change. The one thing we noticed is he's got a 1/1 creature, and he's going to have a lot of small creatures. Phasing of Zhalfir might kind of be an upgrade for his deck. And I definitely should have put of course, the Dragon Saga in the sideboard. That would have made a lot of sense. Right, so this is actually going to cover all 5 land types. That's pretty nice. So we're going to keep this one. Actually find out what the deck is. It's 3 colours. It's Naya. Naya enchantments, right. Sure, okay. We have we've top decked an Azusa's Many Journeys again, which is very exciting. So we'll play a swamp. One thing we kind of have to do is play Thran Portal now and name red. Otherwise, next, because it's if you play it after you've got 3 lands, it comes into play tapped. Because it wasn't. I thought it was a bit too powerful if it could come into play untapped, I guess, at any point. I had to water it down a little bit. So we have a Plains. This is everything, isn't it? So Fable or Weatherseed Treaty. Ramp is quite good here. We're obviously taking a huge amount of damage. Both of these things actually ramp, but this waits till next turn. So let's Weatherseed Treaty, get a basic land out of the deck. How about a mountain so we don't have to tap the trample if we don't have to. There's the Fable. Good chunk of damage. 8 damage. So yeah, we can't stop that Kami of transience yet. I guess we want to get to 7. So Weather Seed Treaty for a land seems quite good. We can't, unfortunately, we can't do. We could do Satsuki and Fable. Then that's 2 spells in a turn. Maybe that's better. Destroy Evil. Yeah, it doesn't hit anything. Hallowed Haunting, that's a very dangerous card. That can quickly take over the game. Yeah, the only thing that can stop him is a board sweeper here. I think, so we need to top deck a board sweeper, get a treasure, because we'll need double blue for the sweeper in this deck. I think I'll do no blocks. So the creature I'm attacking with is definitely Goblin Shaman. Get to 7/7, which is pretty cool. Right, what do we not need? There's no chance we have time to play Braids. Fable or Weatherseed Treaty. Well, he just attacks with everything next turn, doesn't he? These both give us creatures. I think we'll get rid of Weatherseed Treaty. Okay, so that means we've top decked some land. We can have 7 mana this turn. Very lucky. We might even chomp block with something. No, he's going to take the damage. Doesn't need to worry about his life till, and we can Herd Migration. As long as we choose the one on the left, we're good. Take a point of damage, but we get some blockers. That's what I've forgotten about is with Satsuki at the end of his turn. Oh no, it's a sorcery speed thing. Yeah, I think that's why no one's playing this, because it's not very convenient. But we could advance that to get our reflection a bit quicker. Before long, everything's getting flying. Yeah, everything got flying. Good game. So let's save some time. Right, Naya enchantments. Phasing is a good idea. That would have helped a bit there when he's built up a huge board. So yeah, teachings is not necessary. Put phasing back in the deck. Hidetsugu would actually take out all of his token creatures and all of my token creatures. Fall of Lord Conda will not do anything. Event of Iteration might be good. But all the Unspeakable kind of slows him down a little bit. Inventive Iteration. Well, it's more removal, I guess, and it slows him down a bit. But what would we take out for this? We'll take out one Braid's Frightful Return, because that's laborious. It takes quite a while to get going. We'll go down to one copy. We still want one copy of it, I think. We still want to ramp stuff out. We still want Kami War. So let's try 2 Inventive Iteration. Okay. Right, it is a 2-lander, but we've got a guaranteed land with Herd Migration, so we can get to 3 land and then do our Weatherseed Treaty stuff. So I think this is a keep. Okay. This is instant speed, isn't it? Yeah. It's nice when things are instant speed. Looks like we should go for with drawing 2 of our sweepers in the opening hand. I think we need to go for double blue rather than getting more different lands. That said, I'm just going to Weatherseed Treaty next turn anyway, so I think we get a mountain here because we might top deck Fable, and we might decide we want to do that. Cool, okay, Storm-Carved Coast. That gives us double blue. I'm going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to Treaty. We can get the Swamp out. Just the mountain. Got the mountain in hand, of course. We could have done Leyline Binding on the Naturalist there as well, just to slow him down. We'll have 5 mana next turn, so we can do Weatherseed Treaty and Leyline Binding. We might want to Leyline Binding that. Take out his card draw. Does he have a 3rd land? He missed a land drop. Okay. Now, Weatherseed Treaty. Yeah, we want a Weatherseed Treaty and keep white mana up. Uh, sure, go for an island. I think we can play a Xander's Lounge here. And that gets the mountain in play, which means leyline binding should cost 1. I'll just do leyline binding now. That should slow him down a bit. He's got his third land. It's interesting because I opened up with a 2-lander, but I did have the herd migration to try and fix things. Okay, he's got another one. We want to play this mountain finally and swing for 6. And we'll go ahead and play this. Phasing of Zhalfir on Takasia's Welcome. Isn't that could be interesting. That's stopping his card draw. Yeah, it is a permanent as well. That's going to phase out. I'm going to play this even though, see, it's going to get killed by Phasing of Zhalfir and go from a 3-3 to a 2-2. Okay, he's got Destroy Evil there. Fair enough. That's the Companion. That's 2 cards. That's very good for him. Okay. Let's pump up a sapling. Let's phase out a Takasia's Welcome. Let's see if he wants to chump block with Spirited Companion. No. Well, I'm going to Kami War and kill Jukai Naturalist. I'm going to exile Jukai Naturalist. So I want to have this go off before this converts. I wonder if that's possible. Okay, the problem is I've got the bounce on this and I don't want to bounce anything. Ah, well there's the target. Well, I want to bounce one of his zombies he's going to get. Right. Okay, phasing happens first. That's definitely what we want. It confuses me. Sometimes I'm still not sure if last actually means first. As in goes on the stack first or last. Anyway, we'll try and kill everything first, bounce a zombie, and then make an Azusa. Let's try that. Well, that was the middle one, wasn't it? Okay. Yeah, obviously don't really want to bounce these particularly, because he gets to draw another card. I will bounce my Azusa's Many Journeys. Or I could actually submit 0. See what happens. Destroy all creatures, and we'll get those. I see. I think you've got to choose all your targets for everything. Okay, I understand. Right. We're going to play as Souza. These are still phased out. Okay, next to combat. End turn. Okay. Now, the big advantage he has here, he can play Catilda from graveyard, and all of these have now phased back in, so he can get lots of card advantage. If I'm right in, I think I might be right in thinking this. Oh, it's Disturb for 5. Okay, it gives enchant, flying, lifelink, protection from vampires. Okay, +X, +X. It's a pretty dangerous card. We save this phasing, I think, for... Okay, let's do that. Okay. Right. So yeah, this phasing will wipe the board again when he decides to disturb Catilda. I can use this Kami's War to take out Fable, so he doesn't get to discard stuff. That's my thinking. Or we just take out the Takesia's Welcome. Maybe we're okay with him discarding and drawing one as a one-off. He's getting a bit too much card advantage from that, I think. Likeness of the Seeker, sure. Actually, no, let's keep this on defense. Go in with a couple of zombies. Is it disturb time? So it should give +3/+3. Okay, that one's out of there. I wonder what happens when you phase out a prison enchantment. Okay, anything attached to them is treated as if they don't exist. Okay, that's fine. Right, I think we just we hold this land. We hold phasing. And we just go next. And I think no attacks here. So both Kami Wars are out at the moment. What have we got? Well, we've got Leyline Binding in the deck, so... Oh, that's a good one. If we can top deck Leyline Binding, we get Kami War back, and then we get to exile the other enchantment, and then exile something else. So if we can just hit removal, well, the 4 removal cards in the deck, we're on to something good. We've had one. We've got one in the graveyard. That's interesting. I can't play Satsuki Living Law. Okay, right. So I'll go ahead and play this and play a Satsuki. I want my Satsuki out. Okay, no attacks. Is there anything amazing I can get back? Well, there's another phasing I could get back. There's another Takesi's welcome. Okay. Yeah, he might be holding on to this until it's lethal, I guess. He's got quite a lot. And it's number of spirits as well as enchantments. Yeah, we borrowed time. Gets the Takesi's welcome. This triggers once per turn. Okay, everything is flying now. Okay. There goes the Satsuki. That's the 6 damage through. Okay. Well, I mean, this is 10 damage next turn, plus he can pump these guys up by playing more enchantments, and he can play Catilda Dawnheart Martyr. I think so. So I think this is a Phasing of Zhalfir turn. Do I attack first, though, is the question. I'm going to say no. Let's keep these back as blockers. Draws him 2 cards, unfortunately, but there's nothing we can do about that. He has drawn well in terms of his Takesi's welcomes here. So we're still taking, looks like 6 damage getting through. And we've got rid of 1 Takesi's welcome, we got rid of a Jukai Naturalist, and now we can give everything flying, so that's 10 damage through. It could have been worse. It's bought me 1 more turn to draw this all-important Leyline Binding. There's 3 left in 39 cards. That's 1 in 13. 1 in 13 chance. Okay. Could he not have just won there? He has 5 mana up. He could disturb this and have, you know, +7/+7. Well, we got the herd migration, but it's not good enough this time. Because they're not flying cows, unfortunately. We could gain 3 life, but it's not going to make much difference here. Might as well chuck these in. So of course, the enchantments deck is one that it can run out of steam. It doesn't have much card draw. So Takesi's Welcome's a pretty good card for it. But you can see my deck completely ran out of steam there as well. There is not much card draw going on. We're relying on Fable, and that's just discard and draw, so that's card selection. Hey, that's right. We got 1 win with the deck. I think maybe that's I think possibly I'm happy with that, actually. It's another experiment. For ages I've been thinking, oh, I need to use those 4 copies of Satsuki, the Living Law. It's a shame I never got to use the ability, put a law counter on each saga. I wonder if I missed something important, an important time to use that. But yeah, actually quite a simple deck, actually, not very many different cards in the deck. Yeah, I was just thinking about the card draw, and yeah, it's sort of, I think it's pretty non-existent, isn't it? So, we've got Fable to discard and draw. Braids can, it can force a discard, bring a creature back, and then sometimes I can draw a card. It's not very consistent. Satsuki's kind of the card advantage engine. But as we saw, you play against Grixis a lot of the time in best of 3, and this just gets exiled from the graveyard before you get to bring it back with the second step of Braids' Frightful Return. So it's not really going to be competitive in the metagame here. But I think it's fun. Kind of interesting. It's kind of a crucial thing was adding the 4 leyline bindings. That's helped me actually get a win with it. And we actually got to see Phasing of Zhalfir in action in that last game. That was quite interesting. So it's kind of flexible. You can phase out your opponent's stuff if it's got a useful trigger like a card draw trigger. So it's got some flexibility to it. I don't think this might not be the ultimate Phasing of Zhalfir deck, but it's certainly something. It's nice having a sweeper that you can recycle from the graveyard with Satsuki as well. What I should have added into the sideboard, if we look at our Sagas, obviously we should have Elder Dragon War in the sideboard, at the very least. Fall of Lord Conda. I don't know if we need 4 copies of Fall of Lord Conda. I think maybe a couple's good. Let's have a look at all of the sagas. So if you are playing a lot of blue in the deck, I think Modern Age could be very good. So this is card selection. It's draw and discard, but very good to have that on a 2 mana card. So that gives you extra insurance that you can fix your opening hand. If you're going for 4 Phasing of Zhalfir, you're going to have a lot of blue sources in the deck anyway. So I think this is a good 2-drop, a good additional 2-drop to have. If we look at the mana curve, we've only got 8 2-drops now. So we are a little bit greedy. We could definitely go up to 12 2-drops, and then most of the time we're going to be doing something on turn 2. The other 2-drop I'm kind of interested in is Era of Enlightenment, and that gives you Scry 2, so that's pretty good as well. But I'm not really a fan of Michiko's Reign of Truth. It's just an aggressive. It's for the aggressive version of the deck. This deck's not aggressive. There's Life of Toshiro. That would be, yeah, if you're going for more black in the deck and maybe playing Drag to the Bottom. Tribute to Hirobi is interesting because it gives it gives your opponent tokens, which is not ideal, and then you get to take control of them, and then it gives you a sacrifice outlet on your creature. You get a 3/3 flying haster, so it's another way of sacrificing Satsuki, and it's only 2 mana. instead of 3 mana for Braids' Frightful Return. So this might be a replacement for Braids. Braids kind of does everything because you sacrifice Satsuki, and then step 2 you can bring it back. Of course, Cruelty of Gix is a pretty good saga. It's yeah, another case of if you're playing a lot of black in the deck, you can get away with this as well. Long Reach of Night. It's a sacrifice effect, but they can also discard a card to get around it. Yeah, I don't think Jugan Defends the Temple is that good because we're not a creature deck. We don't have loads of creatures to pump up with this. Yeah, and I was looking at the world spell, and then I realised, of course, step 3 says two non-saga permanents. So this is not the card for a saga deck. Although I'll tell you what, in terms of card draw, I forgot what I was hung up on step 1 of Behold the Unspeakable. I thought, oh, okay, that can stop some damage coming in from a go wide deck. Step 2 is the casual scry 2 and draw 2, or draw 4 if you have 1 or fewer cards left. This could be what we're looking for refilling the hand. Yeah, so what we might do, what would you cut? Maybe you'd cut 2 Braids' Frightful Return and have 2 of these. Maybe you could get away with that. Then you have this one of Braids, which is, it's nice to have. It can complete a loop with Satsuki in that sort of late game situation. Yeah, maybe that's worth a try. But I feel like the whole deck concept it's just a bit too convoluted and durdly, I think is the word. It's just it's challenging to make this competitive. But I wouldn't say it's impossible. Worth a try. Anyway, I think that is enough rambling on. I think that's the video. So thanks for watching.